folks?
A new social media platform, truthbook.social, built by the people, for the people, a force for good. Powered by the Australian National Review, non-for-profit news media company, built by the people, for the people as well. And also, the platform will be known as ANR Social. Censor-free and blockchain protected, it combines the best of YouTube features for uploading videos, Telegram and Facebook. To combat the censoring and banning of those who speak the truth, and those who are seeking the truth, truthbook.social will be everything Fakebook isn't. Now is the time in human history where the resistance fights back against global tyranny and the globalists and their Great Reset totalitarian agenda. Truthbook.social and ANRsocial.com support the Great Awakening, or as we call it, the Greater Reset. It is supported by the resistance cryptocurrencies such as Our World Coin, www.ourworldcoin.org, and Bitcoin 2.0, bit-exchange.org. Support the resistance now and join for free truthbook.social and invite your friends to discover the truth and to leave Fakebook, Instasham and ScrewTube behind. Be a force for good in the world. Let the Great Awakening spread the Greater Reset as we defeat the globalists by speaking the truth and sharing the truth. Truthbook.social. Join us now. United we stand, divided we fall.
Welcome back, folks, to the McIntyre Report. We've been talking about the silencing of doctors around the world, the outrageous attacks upon doctors, even effectively 8 police showing up at Dr. Maria's house in the Gold Coast, Australia, less than a year ago, raiding her house for doing nothing more than issuing vaccine exemptions, legal vaccine exemptions to patients. And we've been talking about the massive adverse reactions, the deaths and injuries, and the politicians, what's going to happen to them when this ever ends up in court down the track. Maria, thanks for your time today. Let's talk about now, obviously, many people are suffering adverse reactions, and no doubt, I can only imagine the fear and panic many people out there, that especially, I care for the people that didn't want to have to take it, that were mandated to, that effectively had to choose to put food on the table, that had to keep their job, and they chose to take it even though they didn't want to take it. I know there's other people out there that just couldn't wait to line up to take it. Maybe they're like the teacher's pets at school, pick me, but they knowingly and ignorantly and they attacked anti-vaxxers and they went out and took it and thought they were right. I don't really care much for those people. Ignorance is not bliss. But what I do care about is the people that were coerced, bullied, intimidated, are shamed and into taking something they didn't want to take. And if they're taking, say, 2 or 3, God help them if they're taking 3 or more. I know that's going to be difficult to help those people. But let's say someone's taken 2 vaccines, Maria. What are some things that they could start doing to at least reduce the potential short, medium, and long-term adverse reaction effects they may suffer?
Of course, and that's really where I am. I've got to share my screen again just because there's some protocols and bits and pieces, right, that I actually share with the people that I work with, because that's really important. Because as you know, we're going to go through, if so many people have been vaccinated and if so many people have had all of these things happen to them, right? Whoa, what's happening? Why am I showing?
Yeah, okay. It's on the screen now. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. So, people are going through stress and all sorts of things. You know, if someone came to your house, and that's what's happening to a lot of doctors. If someone come to your house, take away all of your phones, 4 of your phones, all your laptops. If the bank close all of your bank accounts, right, and say to you that we're going to close all of your credit record for 15 years of banking with us, all of them will be closed, you are going to be in pain. You're going to be in a lot of stress about it, right? So I've been working with people with addiction issues. So we go through recovery capital resources, and I've got an 8-week program. And the reason why I'm showing this is the protocols to do it is to become more self-aware and really look at your cycle. It's now a holistic integrative care. You feel me? It's never one thing. There's no one magic bullet. It's about to better your immune system. You've got to think better. Take care of your psychological health. Take care of your physical health. be involved in activities that are meaningful that would make sure your body, like yoga or meditation or things like that, meaningful activities that is meaningful to you, that would get you moving. Make sure that you belong to your community and have a group of people that you are around with that are of the same kin. Like you were saying before, be around people that also have not been vaccinated, because it's going to be good. You're not going to be around people that are shedding. But if your partner, your son, your daughter, or the people that are around you have gotten vaccinated, be around a community of supportive people. Then there's also, where do you live? Are you free from stress and abuse and violence? And then quite a lot of other life functioning or coping mechanisms that would lead to better risk-taking decisions about your money and things like that. And also the social support from your friends and people that are around you. Because really, let's look at this quadrant, because this is very, very important. The quadrant that goes across is your energy, which is really what we are. If you go and measure all of the things about our body, there are different measurements of energy, whether it's our blood, the blood health and the oxygen health, and all of the health of our cells in our brain and all the different parts of our body. So we really need to exercise, learn about food, exercise, breathing. We need to have a restful sleep. We need to eat well, and we need to cultivate our mind so that we're thinking well as well. Apart from that, we also need to have vibrational qualities or things that we cultivate, which will be self-awareness, self-efficacy, journaling, those types of things, cultivating what your values are, what's important to you, visualizing the end outcome and the success of your business or your whatever your endeavor is, finding your purpose and making sure that you're working according to your purpose and being in total alignment with that. The more self-actualized you are and the more you do these things, which are self-care, self-love aspects of yourself, then the less propensity it would be for you to develop any diseases. It's a lot, isn't it? It's like, what?
Yeah, I guess a lot of people don't take into the fact that your mental health and these things that you're talking about, a holistic viewpoint, is that can lead to stress and become affect your immune system, which makes you more likely to catch any sort of disease or ill health. Now, of course, then when you add that to it, an immune destroyer such as the COVID vaccines, that's only going to make things worse if we're out of kilter. As far as, Maria, is there some things as far as people, can take as far as particular supplements that can help them detox from the vaccine, that might be useful for people, and where's the best place to get those things from?
Sure, there's plenty of things. So really, forget about the vaccine in that regard. Not forget about it, of course, but everything that is good for your health is going to be good in either the shedding effects or the vaccine effects. Because what happens when the vaccine enters our body, it incapacitates all the parts that's already not working well. And it worsens it and it magnifies it. So if you already got a cortisol or a stress issue, it's going to magnify that. If you already got, clots are usually flow of blood and energy flow. Really, that's what blood clots are from. So what are you doing to exercise and do all of those things? Now, there are also naturopaths that have invented and synthesized so many great things. So go to your local naturopath and make sure they're unvaccinated, right? Listen to the people that are unvaccinated and ask them now that you know, because guess what? The people that have been vaccinated, unfortunately, are probably not going to be healthy for us to be around. So you don't really want to go to a practitioner that has been vaccinated, because especially if you've got to go and see them regularly. And then, the ones that are unvaccinated are usually the ones that has been synthesizing innovative ways to combat the effects of the COVID-19 vaccine. So for me, I meditate every day. I do my Qigong. I do my yoga every day. I do martial arts every day, those types of things. So common sense, right?
And it's interesting what you say,
But
Maria,
it needs to be done.
as far as people that are unvaccinated, especially if their if they work in the health industry and went out and got vaccinated, it's not a lot of credibility for them. But of course, if they're unvaccinated, they had certain knowledge beforehand, which means they weren't going to take the vaccine under any circumstances. But apart from that, a lot of people aren't aware that. We run an article in the Australian National Review last year. It was the most popular article ever read. Millions read it. And it was by some former WHO advisors, doctors and scientists, former WHO advisors, and they warned that if the vaccinated weren't quarantined, it could be a serious threat to the rest of humanity. And you've talked about their shedding, and some people aren't aware that just by being around the vaccinated COVID vaccines, that they can in fact become infected by the spike proteins from the vaccinated, which can in turn cause them similar adverse reactions. I know this personally in Christmas this year, last year, sorry, and in January, myself and my fiance at the time, now married, but we both got very ill, and members of my family, by being around some of the vaccinated, because remember, a lot of people got sick around Christmas because so many people were vaccinated, so even the unvaccinated got sick. And we got so bad, we almost died, the closest I've ever been to death. And if it wasn't for alternative doctors and an overseas doctor that I desperately got in touch with, that we'd interviewed on our shows with a proven medical protocol, we literally would have died because we were basically so bad that we couldn't survive anymore. We would have been taken to hospital. And unfortunately, you would know as well, taken to hospital, we would have been told we had COVID. We would have been put on a Western medical protocol pushed by Fauci and Gates, which is where they pushed remdesivir and ventilators on patients, told they have COVID, and test it with a falsified PCR test kit. So anyone has COVID, And, of course, that end of life near, as a joke, remdesivir, was, a lot of viewers wouldn't know, that was a banned Ebola drug because it killed 54% of trial patients. And Gates and Fauci and co had it brought back to life, approved fraudulently, like they had the vaccines and everything else approved fraudulently, just like they had AZT, a banned cancer drug. Gates and Fauci cut their teeth on that, bringing that back to life to give to poor AIDS patients, and most people, including Freddie Mercury, they didn't die of AIDS, they died of AZT, of drugs, just like a lot of people here never died of COVID. They died of remdesivir, etc., and ventilators, and the hospitals are incentivized and collect big bonuses for that. So it's actually dangerous. That's why we didn't go to hospital, because we knew, and my sister-in-law did, and before we could warn them, they put on remdesivir. She almost died. And we pulled her off that. We got her off that. Otherwise, she would have died. 6 to 10 days, it'll kill a healthy person. It's effectively murder in this case is starting, and we'll go against Fauci and Gates for murder in hospitals, for murdering patients on this. But I highlight that because if people don't get a vaccine detox, they are actually in danger, even though they're not vaccinated. A lot of people unvaccinated think they're safe, but they're going to be hanging around the vaccinated, which is hard to avoid if, let's say, 75% of the population is vaccinated. We're going to come into contact with them. So obviously having access to proper health protocols that can, I guess, reduce the infection or the effects is really a life-saving.
It is. And one of the biggest key is we've got to I know we're in this because we're giving the information, but at the end of the day, we've got to still drop all of that and the fear that they want us, they meaning the dark side or wherever. We've got to drop that, and we cannot stay in fear, because that's even much more, right? That stress and that fear is so bad for us as well. So lots of things, but there's definitely protocols, and I'm sure you've already shared with people who you're seeing, right? And I'm seeing quite a few people. I've got a number of practitioners that are acupuncturists and holistic health practitioners that are unvaccinated, that I know for a long time, that look the part. See, I'm 46 and I look and feel a certain way because I practice what I preach, and that's what I look for in my practitioners that I engage with as well.
Yeah, no, that's very good. And we thank you for your time, and we might get you, we're launching Truth Talks, part of the Truth Group. Truth Talks is going to be similar to, I guess, TED Talks, except it won't be censored like TED Talks. But a big part of Truth Talks is something we helped put together was Truth Med, the truth in medicine, to really combat against the lies in the fraudulent medical industry, which is effectively legally killing people. where we're making available a lot of the alternate doctors protocols. So we'll invite you to be part of that, to speak at that event, and have some of your protocols, Dr. Maria Power, as part of that, because I know there's going to be ever increasing demand of people out there, because we know we don't want them to focus on fear, but I've had many friends that were very anti. I didn't understand why I was so passionate about trying to stop people taking the vaccine, that unfortunately did take the vaccine. They now have seen some of their friends have heart attacks or die sadly, or their life is over. We see in Australia right now, even Qantas admitted they can't maintain services and cancelling flights because so many of their staff sickness days are up 50%. Now, this
And
is
the pilots, 184 pilots dropped dead in the last year in Australia.
And how many
So
more
can
pilots?
you imagine? Like,
It's
what if
crazy.
they drop dead in the plane? Like, because that's the altitude that actually induces blood clots.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
yes. So I think in
that
Russia now, Russia has introduced where they must have, I think they're having one unvaccinated pilot fly in planes because they're aware of the danger. If all these pilots, the reason they're not being tested is because they were tested, they would be banned from flying. There'd be no pilots to fly. Obviously, the globalists, if you look at their agenda, they don't care about commercial airlines. They think it's bad for the environment. Obviously, private jets that they fly around in are apparently not bad for the environment. So, they don't care. I mean, they intend flying around in jets while the rest of us are locked down in our countries and unable to fly. But we could talk about a lot of those things. But thank you for your time. We'll definitely have you back on future episodes, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you, Jamie, very much for your time. Bye bye.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's Dr. Maria Power. She is an Australian doctor that was she was raided by over 8 police officers less than a year ago for simply issuing illegal exemptions for people that didn't want to take the vaccine and had legitimate reasons not to. She was raided. They took her to court. Obviously, they failed in court. But you see there, even the bank accounts are closing. Myself and many others that speak out on these topics in Australia have had our bank accounts taken away from us, and basically even affected credit ratings, etc., abilities to get loans. So, folks, I'll tell you a little bit more about Truth Talks. That's just been launched, and we're an Australian National Review. We're a big supporter of that, and we will help promote that. But basically, it's going to be like TED Talks, but where you won't be censored. But also a big part of that is a Truth Med subscription, and Truth Med, Truth in Medicine, and also Truth Ed subscription, which is Truth in Education, modern day 21st century education system that many people want access to now because they're fed up with the education system, left-leaning, nutcase, loony left ideology being pushed by the globalists upon school kids with transgenderism and other nonsense being pushed at school. So I'll show you a little bit about this very quickly. Of what's being planned. We can just find it here for you. Here we go. So Truth Talk, you can go to the website now. Truth Talk is truthtalk.live. This is your first people to hear about this. This is launching soon. Basically, it's an educational programs that you can get access to and subscriptions that will help people. Obviously, Truth in Medicine is critical. It's set up to fight against the Great Reset, the totalitarian communistic agenda being pushed by Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum and other billionaire elites. So it's critical to get this education out there. So it's also launched a online business model where people can partner, influencers, content creators, internet marketers can partner with Truth Talks and help spread the word and produce content for it. And also we'll be looking for more speakers to join the platform. This will be held globally, these events around the world, of course, and also the TruthMed subscription gets people access immediately to the medical protocols of many leading doctors around the world, independent scientists that have been treating patients that have suffered from serious adverse reactions from the COVID vaccines. So you can feel free to take advantage of a lot of that. You can simply go to the website and opt in your truthtalks.live, opt in and get a 6 free month subscription to independent news partners. And you can find out more about it. But Australian National Review is happy to endorse that. And I'll be speaking at some of those events and some pretty amazing speakers from around the world, part of the freedom movement, and also many leading doctors and scientists that will be able to be there to help people. That's all for this episode, folks. It's been great chatting to you. We'll be back with some more episodes in the very near future. Until then, take care, and we will talk to you soon.
A new social media platform, truthbook.social, built by the people, for the people, a force for good. Powered by the Australian National Review, non-for-profit news media company, built by the people, for the people as well. And also, the platform will be known as ANR Social. Censor-free and blockchain protected, it combines the best of YouTube features for uploading videos, Telegram and Facebook.